When your jungle guides do this, you're lost. I awoke early, and after eating, I started looking around for any wildlife near the house on the edge of the park. This morning, we're going on a 6-hour tiger walk in the forest. It's not easy to prepare for a hike into Tamandagara Park. We spent a good 30 minutes applying sunblock, insect repellent, and some of us put leech socks on. The multi-layers of chemicals mixed in with the new layers of sweat in the 90 degrees plus weather as we drove into the park. Team Yang, which consisted of 8 zookeepers and Alex and Man from MYCAT, was about to leave the road and go into the jungle. We decided to start off by following an elephant trail. Despite the fact that these animals can weigh 3 to 5 tons, they sure didn't clear a very wide path. I spent the first 20 or so minutes on edge. I thought there'd be a cobra or tiger waiting to strike me around every corner. After 20 minutes without incident, I was able to put the animal thoughts behind me and focus on looking at the grounds for signs of snares or animals. We hiked single file and we tried to stay within eyesight of the person behind you. The forest was thicker than I thought it would be. I realized how easy it would be to get lost or to have an elephant completely separate you from the rest of the group. I also noticed that the dry forest ground was leaving us, and it was hello mud. Our first goal was to check on some camera traps. Now, due to animal security, I can't disclose everything we saw in the traps or on our hike, because poachers these days use social media just like everyone else. But these forests are not only home to some tigers, but other felines, like the black leopard, and a much smaller Asiatic golden cat, the Malayan Tiger, and the sun bear. We saw some scratch marks on a few trees left by sun bears. Another animal that we saw plenty, and I mean plenty of evidence of, was the elephant. You didn't have to be an excellent animal tracker like me to find that. One animal that was tracking us every time we stopped was the leech. Look at this little guy go. The forest floor was home to a lot of things if you looked long enough. Speaking of looking, after only 3.5 hours of hot hiking, it was time to stop for a quick lunch in a cave that was home to some bats, and even more elephant droppings. Everywhere I looked was so beautiful, and I couldn't believe that I was in Malaysia helping tigers. A dream come true. But some dreams are scary, so I quickly wanted to find the sunlight again. And above me, I could hear bats. Lots and lots of bats. I didn't want to look up for too long, as where there are bats, there's falling bat poop. The group was pressing on, so I followed, but a few of us came across this young bat on the cave floor. It called out to the others. After watching it for a while, we left it be and continued on to our lunch spot. I couldn't find any smooth places to sit, but we all eventually found a good spot and took out our food that was kept nice and hot by being in our packs all morning. After our break, we began to look for a new way back since we wanted to cover more ground. This new way back allowed us to create our own trail, which got really interesting. After a few hours, we realized we pretty much had walked back the same amount of time that we had walked in, but something wasn't quite right. Even with this new awkward feeling, how could you not appreciate the beauty all around us? We stopped often as Alex explained the plant life to us. Now our guides had a GPS locator, so we knew kinda where the road was and that we needed to get back to it to go to the park entrance. But it didn't seem like the steep bridges, limestone cliffs, and flowing rivers were working in our favor. Our 6-hour hike was now for sure going to be extended.
Right.
I was very lucky that my friends had brought in a lot of water. Mine was completely gone since I only brought in one bottle to make room for all my camera gear.
Our crew is somewhere down there, coming up. I'm somewhere up, going more up.
And it seemed like when we had reached the top of one ridge, we needed to go even further. Every once in a while, something small or something big would make noise in front of us, but it was hard to figure out who or what made the noise. I was getting exhausted and I started to drift off when something pulled me right back into reality. Not these, but this. And a few of his friends would land some very painful stings into my hand, forearm, and side. Yeah, the mark they left was little, but it was painful. But it only hurt for around 5 minutes. But it was a long 5 minutes. Everyone to stop to gather our last bit of strength.
20 hours later.
We're in the rainforest.
We're all still alive.
We're in the jungle.
And we felt like we were kind of near the road. Well, we thought that way until we all turned around again.
We're lost. And, that's great.
The jungle was coming alive as evening was settling in, and it was important to stay safe and vigilant.
What did?
Our group was not quiet. The noise was intended to flush out animals and assert our presence and keep us safe. And it was working. This photo is of us worn out, and it says it all. There is no public transportation in the jungle, so you walk in, you have to find somehow to walk out. And after 10 hours and a long 12 miles, we finally did it.
Got road. We got road. Let me show you.
We lost some time, but the consolation prize was covering more area in our search for snares and other signs of illegal poaching. After all, this was the intent of the trip, and we were happy to do it.
There's still a couple there. Oh my god.
At the Jeep, we stopped for another blurry group photo.
Yeah.
And we get to do it all over again tomorrow. But tomorrow, I'm for sure bringing more water.
Thanks for watching this long episode of Safari Malaysia. For more important information, please read this video's description.